DaBaby is back on Beyoncé and Jay-Z's tail again, and this time, he is exposing the details of what happened during a freak-off with Beyoncé and Jay-Z at Diddy's house that made them run away. Apparently Beyoncé and Jay knew what they were walking into that day when they decided to freak off with Diddy, but Diddy left out some other details of the freak-off that made them rethink their decision to get nasty with him. Initially, people thought Jay was the one rolling in the dirt with Diddy, but according to DaBaby, Beyoncé is part of it too, and she's been down with it for a long time. DaBaby was the last person folks were expecting to pop out and expose Beyoncé, but baby, he did. And now people are giving Beyoncé a major side eye for watching Diddy do all the things he did with no plans of stopping him. Now, when it comes to DaBaby getting involved with Beyoncé, these allegations started going around when a clip of his interview with Shannon Sharpe went viral. This interview also happened to pop out around the same time Diddy was busted by the feds on RICO charges, so you can already imagine how much of a mess it was. People were dragging B and Jay through the mud, and after hearing the details of what DaBaby said, you wouldn't be surprised by why they were dragging them. So according to DaBaby, he was invited by Diddy to his mansion for a meeting, but when he got there he saw Beyoncé and Jay-Z, and this shocked him, because he didn't know they were going to be there. But it gets crazier. Y'all, a few minutes into him being there, Diddy kicked everyone out of the room, leaving only him, DaBaby, Beyoncé, and Jay. And once it was just them, DaBaby claims Beyoncé walked up to him to introduce herself. Now, there's nothing wrong with her introducing herself, but DaBaby said he was thrown off a bit because she was beginning to get a little touchy, and also he didn't understand why she was walking up to him to do all that introduction when he already knows who she is.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? And Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people, he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyoncé being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyoncé, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope.
Around the same time this came out, the popular attorney Ariel Mitchell also put her messy boots on when she appeared in an interview and revealed that someone reached out to her to represent them in the sale of a freak-off video between Diddy and a certain high-profile celebrity. Ariel said she got to see the video herself, and according to her, the other high-profile celebrity in the video is even more high-profile than Diddy.
I was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
I've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and
kill, correct.
Wow, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I can't explain who the person was, but
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
You
can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video is specific in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, Diddy. And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participants in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded it.
Now, obviously, there are only a few people who are more high-profile than Diddy, and with the Baby interview that was going around, the first person on everyone's list was Beyoncé. In fact, Jaguar Wright confirmed this when she said the meeting the Baby said he had with Diddy, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z was actually a freak-off. She brought this up while going off on Shannon Sharpe for messing with underage girls, even when they were young enough to be his grandkids. She said the reason the Baby held back from saying it was a freak-off was because Shannon has been working closely with J&B to secure his NFL deal, and the last thing he was going to do was let someone come on his show and trash talk them.
Is a broke-down Mandingo fighter still working on behalf of the NFL. That's what he is. Period. You want to know what else I also find funny? That he did that interview with that DaBaby person who sat there and told him about when he met Beyoncé. Y'all remember that? That happened on Shay Shack. And he talked about how he was at the Diddy party at Diddy's house. And how after, the festivities were winding down and it was getting later into the middle of the night, approaching 3 a.m., Diddy got rid of almost everybody, but he let DaBaby stay behind with him and his close friends. And then he talked about how Beyoncé was there, and Jay-Z was there, not at their house, at Diddy's house. And how Beyoncé presented herself to him, and she didn't have to do that because he knew who she was and he couldn't believe she was talking to him. But she approached him, kind of like how she approached that old friend of his when he said that he was at the party and the little people was there, and she asked him, "Isn't this sexy?" My, how illuminating. There's been a lot of freaking off going on for a long time. Why does everybody keep... Let me tell you this. Beyonce, Giselle Knowles Carter. It does not matter how much money they spend, how many people those tickets ain't gonna sell. You're caught. I wish you had the common sense that animals do when they're caught. They just surrender. But no, y'all gonna fight it to the very end. Y'all gonna bring this broke down old NFL bum who apparently will do anything with his genitals to help cover or create validity where there is none with the weirdos. With his little orange purse. Screwing people's kids. Screwing kids young enough to be his grandchildren. Shame on you. You a dirty old man. Period.
This mess was quickly making people piece things together, and it was all because of the Baby's interview. People had speculations about Jay and Beyoncé before, but he pretty much confirmed it. All some people even speculated that Jay was servicing Bey out to Diddy for these freak-offs, and he reportedly did it by keeping her hooked on substances.
But I say, man, yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way.
The more drugs he pumps down his wife's throat to keep her in the
No, girl. Not my beautiful Beyonce 5.
I tell you this right now, y'all talking about free Britney. Y'all need to be doing a campaign that say free Beyonce.
Beyonce is free.
She is a prisoner in a gilded cage.
And then there was this viral video of Beyoncé looking zoned out at a basketball game with Jay. She could barely keep her eyes open and kept slowly swinging her head side to side to stay awake. Her PR team at the time tried to get ahead of the situation by claiming she was just tired from her rehearsals, but no one was buying it. Shortly after this, Beyoncé's assistant told media takeout that Jay was putting his hands on Beyoncé. The assistant said, "Seems that for a while he's had a problem with keeping his hands to himself." Now, I've never seen him just flat out strike B, but too many times I have seen him shove and push her. At first I thought it was just a little horseplay thing between the two, but once I saw how embarrassed B was to be manhandled in front of me and Santrope, I realized that it was no joke. I've been Beyoncé's assistant and friend for a while now, and I've always wanted to say something, but I never felt it was my place. He treats Beyoncé like she's an object and not a person. According to the popular gossip YouTuber Storm Monroe, Diddy's trial is the reason B has been Throwing all these products and tours in our faces, she doesn't know where her career will be by the end of this year, and she needs to stack up as much as she can. If y'all remember, she initially launched her clothing line with Adidas Ivy Park that came, and then she went on the Renaissance World Tour, released a movie for the movie in theaters to make even more money, then released her Cowboy Carter album, then she put out a perfume line, as well as a tequila brand, and now on another tour again, which people claim feels rushed and last minute.
Why they're already living separate lives, and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off, he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it, and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. I might have to ask you something. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're gonna see Beyonce divorce. Okay? And she may or may not do an interview, but their publicist is gonna release something. She's gonna say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah, 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 blah. Now, before all this happens, we may get another tour. We may get another album out of both of them. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're gonna do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she...
A source allegedly close to her actually also came out and confirmed everything in a blind item that read, "Industry insiders have been whispering about this for a while." If you're wondering why her bodyguard chased after her at that big awards show recently, it's because Stinger has threatened to flee the country multiple times. She's done with the control, the pressure, and the handlers who make every decision for her. They're afraid she'll leave without notice, and they're right to be. Singer suffers from depression and has thoughts her team sees her as a danger to herself, but what they're really afraid of is losing their cash cow. They've kept her under control for years, but they won't be able to much longer. She's on the verge of rebelling. She's fed up with her mother's control. She's tired of her husband's influence. As usual, people had their own thoughts, like this person who said, Jay-Z and Beyonce waited too late to make moves. Now they don't have money and can't take out a loan. One thing about America, if corporate America not eating, nobody not eating, another person said, it's all sad. Did you see the hand sign Beyonce was holding up? If they are allegedly doing all this sick with young people and animals, they should all be in jail. Yes, sir, but now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Beyonce and Jay-Z running from Diddy? And do y'all think DaBaby is telling the truth or he's clout chasing? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.